Hi, I want to talk to you today about two things in the real estate market world. One that's particular to New York City and one that is nationwide. So if you have a mortgage, you should be very aware of this, which is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are providing programs for people to delay their mortgage payments for up to 12 months. I mentioned this yesterday in my previous update or a day before. But I just wanted to show it to you on the site. This is indeed a program that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are offering. And let me just show you, I'm going to screen share here. And here we go. So this, I'm on Fannie Mae's site. And if you scroll down into the recent news, Fannie Mae assistance options for homeowners impacted by COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. So this is actually from a few days ago. For families that are have dealing with illness or other issues, financial issues, homeowners are who are adversely impacted by this national emergency may request mortgage assistance by contacting their mortgage servicer. Foreclosure sales and evictions and borrowers are suspended for 60 days, and homeowners impacted by this national emergency are eligible for a forbearance plan to reduce or suspend their mortgage payments for up to 12 months. That's a big deal. So if you are having problems making your mortgage payments, contact your lenders. Credit Bureau reporting for the last past due payments of borrowers in a forbearance plan as a result of hardships attributable to this national emergency is suspended. So basically, if you do this and you take, mortgage payment delays that are offered now and guaranteed through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, your mortgage is not going to be, or excuse me, your credit is not necessarily going to be affected. And apparently this was back in 2008, people had problems with this as well. And there were some programs, or people did have the ability to delay their mortgage repayments, but it affected their credit scores adversely, which nobody wants. So this is a great thing. If you are having problems with mortgage payments or you anticipate problems, maybe reach out to your lender and talk to them about this program and how it might work for you. So the next thing I wanted to mention is also, it's about, so it's a very New York City real estate specific. A friend of mine yesterday, who also is a client that I've been working with, texted me. He's like, "Oh, shady realtors are like asking all the sites to stop reporting days on market for listings." And this is, it's an interesting thing, and I see his perspective on it. He's like, "Oh, that's really shady. Like, if we're going to have all these listings and suddenly we can't know how long they've been on the market." So what I said to him was, "Hey, just whatever, starting today, add, 30 or 60 days or 90 days or whatever it ends up being that the market is essentially shut down to the tally of the total days on market, and you'll still be able to kind of have a sense of it." But I'll show you this too. This is from the Real Deal, and REBNY, which is the Real Estate Board of New York, which is the kind of like the Realtors Association for New York City, orders days on market calculation to stop for residential listing. The order applies to all RLS vendors. RLS is the REBNY listing system, kind of like the MLS for New York City. So the order applies to all RLS vendors, syndication partners, effective March 20th, which was, what day is it on today? Today is the 21st, so it's effective yesterday. So the Real Estate Board of New York is ordering the public days on market clock to stop for all its residential listings. Any vendor or syndication partner that accepts listings from the trade organization's residential listing service will need to stop calculating and publicly displaying days on market, according to this notice. So REBNY, it goes on to note that REBNY's order comes days after a recent organization asked StreetEasy to suspend its count of days on market, as Bloomberg reported. Uh, REBNY, asked this. StreetEasy has not stopped reporting these days. So we'll see if StreetEasy complies with REBNY's order. And if they do and they don't, I don't know. But the other side of the argument of this, and that I will point out, um, is that the market is essentially frozen. There are few to no showings of residential real estate going on right now in the city. So with that in mind, the market is essentially closed. Like, these are not exactly days on market. If you've got a listing, I've got 3 listings right now on market that I can't do open houses at. Most of the buildings are not allowing open houses. Showings are restricted or not allowed in some buildings, and we have zero interest in. I've had no requests for showings in the last 5 or 6 days, or maybe longer. It might have been over a week now that I haven't had a request for a showing for any of these listings, and they span, from 2 bedrooms in Williamsburg to a couple bedrooms in the Upper East Side. So it's fair to say that this is not exactly, these days don't really exactly count as days on market, because there really is no market. The market is essentially shut down. Just for example, I was on a company-wide call last night with Corcoran, and not only are our offices shut down and have been shut down for a week, but the building that I'm in, that my office is in on Irving Place, near Union Square, the building is locked. The landlord has locked the building. We can't even get into the building, even if we wanted to get into our office. And that's not to say that some business can't happen, but if you can't do showings, if closings are a problem because lawyers and closing and title companies and banks are all working from home as well, this isn't really an active market. So I do think that it's actually a fair request to stop the days on market counter. But quite honestly, don't really care that much personally, because one thing that I think people do is they put a little too much weight on how long a listing has been on the market anyway. I've worked with sellers in the past who have a certain price that they have the place on market for, and they may be really flexible on that price, but we'll never know unless somebody puts an offer in anyway. And regardless of the number of days on market, you really don't know what the story is with a listing unless you actually go see it and then put an offer on. So either way, that's the story with the days on market calculation that some of you may or may not have heard of. The mortgage stuff is really important. Definitely go check that out, especially if you're looking at having problems paying your mortgage. This should be a very good option for you and for many people all across the country. All right, that's it today. We'll talk to you again tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. Tomorrow's Sunday. Maybe I'll take the day off. We'll see. All right. Bye, guys.